right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's City of Cedar Falls regular City Council meeting for Monday, May 4th. I will now call this meeting in order. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Schultz.
Here.
Latta.
Here.
Nagel.
Here.
Hallbaker.
Here.
Fairbanks.
Here.
Chrisman. Here. Dunn.
Here.
All members present, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And if willing and able, could everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you, everyone. I'll preface tonight with a few things because I know we have a lot of people interested in talking about the data center piece of things. So I know our agendas can be a little confusing sometimes. So tonight on item, I want to make sure everyone knows when they have the chance to speak on everything. So item 35 tonight, we will be setting the public hearing date for the proposal from PNZ, the recommendation from PNZ to deny the zoning change. Tonight we will simply be setting the public hearing, so we won't actually be discussing the item. However, if you see in the referral section, we do have a referral from a council member to look at considering directing staff to incorporate disallowing that use. So we will have public discussion during that. Just so that'll be kind of the time where we actually discuss everything, and so you can feel confident we'll have that chance to talk through everything. So otherwise, Council, everyone comfortable with that?
Yep.
Okay, otherwise then we will look to move for a motion on approval of minutes for the regular meeting of April 20th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded, and any discussion from council? And seeing none, any from the public? Also seeing none requires a voice vote. So all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Madam Clerk, any agenda revisions?
I have no agenda revisions, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And so we will now open up for public forums. The speakers will have one opportunity to speak for up to 5 minutes on topics relevant to city business. If it is an item on the agenda, please wait till that point. We'll have a chance to talk then. But otherwise, if there's anything else relevant that's not on the agenda, would anyone like to speak tonight? Give a chance, just because I know we have some people out in the foyer. All right, seeing none, then we will, Sorry. You're fine. That's why we waited a minute. Just name and address, please.
Kim Jordan, 2018 Minnetonka. Recovering from my drop foot, so at least I didn't trip on the way in. Just couldn't quite get through. Longtime resident, 61 years, Cedar Falls. I know we're looking at hiring a new city administrator, and that's kind of hot topic because we have a lot of needs in this community, and we have people that are coming in that do not have a lot of familiarity as to what's going on. The CIP, and we're approving the budget for 2026, still had no allocations towards the hospital. There needs to be some transparency. We have Stephanie Sheets, and maybe we can get some addressing to the February 5th, 2024 lease that City Attorney Kevin Rogers kind of buttoned up, where we had Covenant, Wheaton Franciscan, Mercy One, Trinity, taking a lease for 2 years, ending December 31st of 2026. We need to know about the zoning status. That would be Karen Howard, to kind of let us know. Stephanie Sheets mentioned that it was going to be 14 and a half acres turned over to R3 economic, moderate to high density income, which is far different than the non-tax that it is right now. She also, that same meeting, mentioned the 1015 Division Street, and Director Ron Gaines had corrected her, saying that the city technically did not own that. But that was going to be another 14 and a half acres that was going to be developed. These are big things. The city budget, the school budgets, they should not overlap. We should not ever have a city director like Richard McAllister, who had taken it upon himself to appoint people to
Mr. Mayor,
boards.
can we please not talk about people who are not even here? Can we stick to that decorum?
Ms. Jordan, please try to keep it to specific to the city operations.
May I also say,
city
can my
business.
minutes be added since the interruption was
Just
made?
please continue.
Okay, thank you. Because of this, we lost the hospital. We had a head of medical that went in to turn on the TV the next morning, found out that it was sold for $1. no communication, no overlapping protections to the community areas. And we have it on known fact that Mayo Clinic was looking at our locations. This director that's coming in has roots to Austin. I like to scout things out. I was an assistant volleyball coach. We were second in the state. We had to travel, we had to look at things. I've been to Austin, I've been to Decorah, I've been to Red Wing. I've seen what these Mayo clinics have to offer. 26,000 people in Austin is less, half of Cedar Falls. We have history here. Yes, I've seen where the public works is in Austin. I've looked at the hospital, I've went around it. Does he know much about us? Does he know that these infill, these developers that are taking root right now, are not going to put enough waterways in? We're looking at redeveloping some of our downtown area, maybe putting mother-in-law cabinets in, and we're taking away from the old plotted areas that are going to have waterways. That hospital, we need to know couple things. Before the meeting that we have with Jennifer Robendock with the Sartori Foundation next Thursday morning at 7:30 in the morning, do we have a certificate of need that is going to stay in Cedar Falls at 515 College Street? We need that site. Right now, long-term care is costing, could be $33,000 if you were, $37,000 if you were paying Thrivera to come into your house.
Mr. Warren, I apologize.
These
but
are
the healthcare
expenses.
organizations are not a city function.
They are not our city function, and
not
we had a
relevant
city
to the
director
city's
that
operations.
exploded our opportunity to be in the United States as a known destination to Mayo Clinic. So it does have relevance here, Mr. Mayor, and we need to know that we are going to keep that site. I shouldn't have had conversations with a board member that says Mercy One does not want to have competition. Competition makes excellence. It gives us credibility. We should expect that we have a doctor that has done multiple surgeries, not just within 10, and he wants to use us as a new start. We need to have layers of department. We need to not be partnering with them, not be purchasing 50 acres, and not be putting Sartori Memorial Hospital name on 50 acres. I'd like to know if we have that leased out this year. I'd like to know the status of the Bells Family Farm, and I'm very irritated about First Street and Union Road because we have not been thinking out 3 to 10 year traffic studies, especially if we're going to take and develop to the west of Union Road during or off of 12th Street. That's going to add extra.
At this time.
So there is a lot for our city director. I should have ran for that.
Ms. Jordan, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else for public comment this evening? All right, seeing none, we will close the public forum and move to staff updates. We've got a few tonight. Director Sheets, want to cover the falls?
Yeah, I'd like to announce that pool passes are on sale for the falls, and with the warmer weather, hopefully people are thinking about going to the falls this summer. Our opening day is May 30th, and the season will run from May 30th to August 23rd. Weather, crowd, staffing, all influence that. But our hours are generally noon to 8, Monday through Saturday, 1 to 8 on Sunday. And we will have shortened hours at the beginning here, June 1st through 3rd, due to Cedar Falls School still being in session. We offer lap swimming starting June 4th at the falls. Water walking will start on June 4th through August 21st. And a stretching aqua trim class will be offered this year, so people can register for that. So please consider buying your passes at the rec or online through Civic Rec.
Thank you, Director Sheets. And then Director Schrage, I think we have a few road updates.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a brief update regarding West First Street and Union Road. The temporary pavement has been placed. The traffic is on the new temporary pavement. The south access, south on Union Road, has been closed, and it will be closed for a majority of the construction season. We anticipate that it'll be opened around November. So,
Perfect. Thank you. And then Attorney Rogers, I believe we have an introduction to make tonight.
Thanks, Mayor, Council. I'm very pleased to introduce Kyle Manley, who's been hired to be our next city attorney. We'll be working closely together for the next couple months, so you're not rid of me quite yet, but it's coming, and we just want to welcome Kyle to the community.
So. Thank you, Attorney Rogers, and welcome to the team, Kyle. And then I did want to give a quick shout out. So we have some troop members here today, Troop 44. Do you guys want to stand up and we'll give you a round of applause too? Yeah. Thank you guys for making the time to come out tonight. So hopefully you learned something. And then also, I know we've got it on the agenda. We can discuss it then as well if anyone would like to, but I did want to give a shout out to our new city administrator contract we have on here. If anyone's paid attention, this has been a long process, about probably 6 months worth of community kind of introductions of the potential candidates, the recruiting process, meeting with council, meeting with staff, looking at what are we looking for in that position. This is kind of the first time we've gone to that external level to look at potential candidates, and I think it was a process that we got a lot of involvement in, and I know I really appreciate the chance to have all the discussions with council on what we're looking for, and I think we came to a candidate that we're really excited to make an offer to, so looking forward to having them come on board, potentially, if you guys approve. Otherwise, that will move us to our special order of business, item number 2, public hearing on the proposed amendments to the city's fiscal year 26 budget. Do we have a motion to receive and file approved publications?
So moved. Second.
Motion and seconded, and all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Madam Clerk, any written communications?
I have no written communications, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And for staff comments, we've got Lisa Roding. Thank you, Lisa.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, staff, and the public. The public hearing tonight is for the fiscal year 2026 budget amendments. And the original budget for 26 was approved over a year ago on April 21st, 2025. So more than likely, budget amendments are needed, and we do this annually. Budget amendments you have before you are due to timing of capital projects, participation in grants, and also included in your documentation were line item adjustments for over expenditures covered by underspent line items. Included in your packet was the notice of public hearing, and on this it does show that the city can allocate their expenditures through 9 program areas, and those program areas are the public safety, public works, the health and social services area, culture and rec, community and economic development, general government, debt service, capital improvements projects, and business type activities. Now, our public notice did only have expenditures increase in 7 of those 9 programs. The other part of the notice shows where we had increases to cover those expenditures come from, and those are revenue line items. Those revenue line items are additional city taxes, licenses and permits, uses of money and property, miscellaneous revenue, intergovernmental revenue, charges for services, special assessments, and other financing source revenues, along with cash reserves. The process for the budget amendments do follow the same process as the original budget. We do have to file it with the county auditor annually, and this process has to be completed by May 31st. So after tonight's meeting, I will file this per Iowa code by the 31st.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Any clarifying questions from council for Lisa at this time? All right, seeing none, then we will open the public hearing for any public comments on this item this evening. All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to, we'll look for a motion on a resolution approving and adopting the amendments to the city's fiscal year 26 budget.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded, and any discussion from council? All right, seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. Takes us to item number 3, public hearing on the proposed plan, specifications, and estimate of cost for the 2nd Street West parking lot reconstruction project. Do we have a motion to receive and file?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. And Madam Clerk, any written communications?
I have no written communications, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And then for staff comments, we've got Tom Bither. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. This public hearing is for the plan specifications and estimate of costs and quantities for the 2nd Street Parking Lot West reconstruction project. This project consists of the removal of 3 separate parking lots in the western half block between 2nd and 3rd Streets on Washington and Main Streets. Concrete parking lot with concrete curb and gutter and storm sewer will be constructed. This project will also include paver sidewalks, parking lot lighting, parking lot monument signage, and landscaping. The total estimated cost for the construction is around $1.16 million. The project will be funded with downtown tax increment financing. The engineering division recommends approving this project. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Any clarifying questions for Tom at this time? All right, seeing none, we'll look for any public comment on this item this evening. We're all excited about more parking.
Shocking.
Just name, please.
Kim Jordan. We always talk about parking. Doesn't matter if we're school government, that's what we talked about at Cedar Falls High School on Division Street. Every year, what do you do to fix it? We have an opportunity, and we've had an opportunity in the past, and I believe Mr. Kittrell's here, to go up with our parking, which also could accommodate a bathroom. Years ago, we did boundary line changes, and I said to Dr. Kenyon that the school district wasn't thinking big enough about making North Cedar maybe a larger.
Sure.
It goes
Get
back
into the
to,
parking lot.
we're not thinking big enough for the parking. We could have an elevator. Schumacher's has been in business for 70 years. They're partners of ours. We need to watch out for them for the hospital. We need a parking ramp. We need a bathroom that is handicap accessible. And we really missed an opportunity to put a pedestrian bridge across the river when we've done other things with the loss of the broom factory and getting a motel. So let's not think too small. We've got a lot going on. The sanitary sewer and the runoff
Sure,
is
please-
concerned.
Please keep it to the parking lot discussion.
It could also, I would like to say, if we did a towering parking lot, we should put in-floor heat so that our winter, which is half of our year, which we should not have bicycles on Main Street because of that, should burn off the ice and snow just so that the shopping people downtown can have a place to get out without the snow. It would also be a really great place to get the additional parking off of the streets when the city plows need to go out in the middle of the winter to clear the streets. It'd be nice if Mr. Heath would talk about the maintenance schedule with the new equipment that we're getting, because we're going to be hitting those little bump outs to the pedestrian sidewalks. We need to do straight lines. We need to keep it simple and be proactive, think big instead of thinking too small. 1.6, we threw 10 million into the river, and that's God's river, not ours. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jordan. Is there anyone else for public comment this evening? All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and look for a motion on a resolution approving and adopting the plan specifications and estimate of costs for the 2nd Street West parking lot reconstruction project.
So moved. Second.
Motion and seconded, and any discussion from council? Seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. Item number 4, public hearing on the proposed plan specifications and estimate of cost for the Walters Pond Storm Sewer Renovation Project. There's a motion to receive and file approved publication.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Madam Clerk, any written communications filed?
I have no written communications, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And for staff comments, we've got Tom Bither. Thank you, Tom.
Mayor, Council. This public hearing is for the plan, specifications, and estimate of costs and construction for the Walters Pond Storm Sewer Renovation Project. This project consists of rebuilding the storm sewer outfall at the end of Walters Pond Place and stabilizing erosion at the said outfall. The total estimated cost for this construction is around $68,000. This project would be funded by the stormwater funds, and the engineering division recommends approval of this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Any clarifying questions for Tom at this time? All right, seeing none, we'll then look for any public comments on this item this evening. All right, also seeing none, we will close the public hearing and look for a motion and resolution approving and adopting the plan specifications and estimate of cost for the Walters Pond Storm Sewer Renovation Project.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded, and any discussion from council? All right, seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. Item number 5, hearing on a proposed resolution approving or adopting and levying the final schedule of assessments for the 2025 Sidewalk Assessment Project Zone 7. For staff comments on this, we've got David Wicke. Thank you, David.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. This hearing is being held for the final schedule assessments for the 25 Sidewalk Assessment Project. This was in Zone 7. Sidewalk assessment program, as you may well know, is divided up into 10 different zones, and each year we go into each zone and we do our sidewalk assessment project. 2025 happened to be Zone 7. Property owners receive notices for this particular one in the spring and fall of 24, and then again in the spring of 25. Notifications outline the time frame in which property owners have the opportunity to be able to make those repairs themselves prior to the city's contractor going in and starting work. For those who opt for the city's contractor to perform the work, a bill is generated and then sent to the property owners, and we give them a 30-day time limit to make that payment. If the bill is not settled within that 30 days, then it is forwarded on to the county, and then it goes on to their county taxes as part of the assessment. And that can be paid over a 5-year period. Let's see, included in your packet is the final schedule assessments, and the properties being assessed for the 25 sidewalk assessment. Those are highlighted in yellow. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, David. Any clarifying questions from council at this time for David? All right, thank you, David. And seeing none, then we will look for any respondent comments. So people can only comment on this item if they were one of the affected parties within the assessments for the 25 area. So is there anyone who would like to speak this evening on this? All right, and seeing none, then we'll look for a motion on a resolution adopting and levying the final schedule of assessments for the 2025 Sidewalk Assessment Project Zone 7.
So moved. Second.
Motion seconded, and any discussion from council? All right, and seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. Takes us to item number 6, old business, pass ordinance number 3141, vacating a portion of First Avenue, formerly known as Green Street, right away upon its second consideration. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded, and any discussion from council? All right, seeing none, any from the public? Also seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. Takes us to the consent calendar, and the following items will be acted upon by a voice vote and a single motion without separate discussion unless someone from council or the public would like to request otherwise. Are there any requests from council? And seeing none, any from the public? All right, also seeing none, I'll look for a motion to approve items 7 through 14 of the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded, and all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. That takes us to the resolution calendar. Well, the following items will be acted upon by roll call vote on a single motion unless anyone would like to request otherwise. Is there any requests from council?
25, Mr. Mayor.
25?
25, Mr. Mayor.
Any others from council? All right, seeing none, any from the public? All right, and also seeing none, I'll look for a motion to approve items, let me get my numbers here, 15 through 35 of the resolution calendar, excluding item 25.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded and requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. And we'll go to item number 25 and look for a motion on a resolution approving and authorizing execution of a professional services agreement with Snyder and Associates Incorporated relative to the Coneflower Storm Water Wetland Project.
So moved. Second.
Motion seconded, and Counselor?
Just a comment on doing this project is probably in my personal opinion, of greater value because of where it's at. And we already have that. To be able to convert it to a wetlands makes a lot of sense, and a good focus to have for our city. We focus on some of the little ones that don't have much impact, and to me, this makes a lot of sense. So appreciate it.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other discussion, comments from City Council? All right, seeing none, any from the public? And also seeing none, then we'll look for a roll call. Oh, okay, go ahead. Just name, please.
Kim Jordan. I checked through the packet, and there's quite a bit of information to that whole contract that they put together. Just wondering if some of those figures for consultation, hours of service that they put in could be applied to the residential redevelopments as well.
Ms. Warren, this is only for the item
I
referring to the
know,
Coneflower
but
Stormwater
there's a
Wetland.
lot of, if you look at the packet, Mr. Mayor, there's a lot of information that they detail out, like for the architect exactly what they do for figuring the percentage and so forth. That could also be used in the layout of the development, the new developments, and holding some of the developers accountable for the water runoff and so forth. Just wanting to think bigger scope in some of your closed door, conference meetings that you are having, because it kind of lays out
Hey, Ms.
what
Jordan,
you
this
can
needs to
expect.
stay germane to the Coneflower specific project.
Yeah.
If there's anything for
Yeah.
that you'd like to discuss.
And thinking big picture. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jordan. Is there any other public comment this evening? All right, seeing none, any further discussion from council? Seeing none requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries and takes us to item number 36, motion to allow bills and claims for May 4th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded. Any discussion from council? And seeing none, any from the public? All right, also seeing none requires a roll call vote, please.
Okay.
It passed.
All members voting aye.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. Any council updates or announcements?
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
We should probably recognize it's Councilmember Schultz's birthday today, so happy birthday to Gil. I think he told me he's turning 42 today. So.
I'm looking.
I can't even believe you went that high.
I couldn't tell. I was too busy looking at his tie. Happy birthday, Councilmember Schultz.
Are you going straight home after?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Not making
And
any
May the
stops at
4th
local
be
establishments.
with all of you.
So, happy birthday, Counselor. Any other council updates or announcements for this evening? All right, seeing none takes us to council referrals. Item number 37, a referral to consider directing staff to incorporate the explicit disallowance of data centers and cryptocurrency mining facilities within the City of Cedar Falls zoning regulations. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
So motion seconded. I'll open up for discussion. Just so everyone kind of knows how it's laid out, council will get a chance to just kind of discuss the referral, and then we'll look for some direction and kind of get toward where they'd like that referral to go. We will include the public comment in that here as a piece of that. And so just something I kind of wanted to help preface from kind of the city's end. The process of this can be really confusing through P&Z, through City Council. We've got the item that'll be on May 18th. We have the referral. So ultimately, the city's job is to, within the community, regulate to the benefit of the community. What types of businesses do we allow, disallow, or regulate in some way? We often get requests from businesses wanting to look at changing our text amendments, the zoning rules, where certain things are allowed. And so it's probably a little over a year ago, some requests came in to look at allowing some of this broader use as some of these smaller projects that are in the community that have been there, obviously to some extent, despite the rules not allowing them. Separate conversation, but one to be had. So we're here tonight to look at, as these have grown, we as the city needed to look at how do we put specific, if we're going to allow them, regulations and rules around allowing these in the best interest of the community, and one of those options being to not allow them. So I think I can speak for myself, but probably for everyone. We've been paying a lot of attention to what's been going on in the P&Z conversations, being able to review the recordings there. I know we've heard from many of you, and had the chance to, if not respond to everyone, at least read everything for the most part. And so I always joke, if I wasn't in government and government ever said to me, trust the process, I'd be like, yeah, okay. But as someone in government, I do have a lot of respect and trust and faith in our Planning and Zoning Commission, this body here, and the public process that we have here in Cedar Falls for reviewing these things. And so with that, we're kind of here today to look at, we have a referral from council member to look at some of the discussion around this to potentially disallow this use. Obviously, we will still have on the May 18th agenda the recommendation from P&Z and the discussion around that. But for tonight is really the referral to look at that direction to staff of do we want them to put some work, time into looking at what it may look like to disallow that potential usage. And with that, council members.
Yeah, can I go first since it's mine?
Sorry, I just wanted to get the background.
All right. This is my referral. We've received a lot of information from the public. I was at the town hall meeting. There's a ton of information about environmental impacts, economic benefits, crypto versus data centers. But the one that struck me, and I think is an easy starting place, which is why I think we seriously, as a city of our size, that makes us different than, say, what's happening in Palo and the Dwayne Arnold Center and Energy Center and things like that, is that we have a municipal utility, okay, that its sole purpose is to serve this city. And if we scale up, I know there are some uses, but if we scale up or become a town where you have these very large data centers or crypto mining, that relative to the benefit of the city, the amount of power that they require to run, they would become an outsized player in our electrical market, which serves to benefit, in my opinion, us only. And I believe those are concerns also. I can't speak for them, but I do believe those are the concerns of our utility, okay? That they understand their charge, which is to serve the community that we allow here, okay? So, but they also want to maintain that public nature of it and not have too strong a public-private partnership so that we lose the public nature of that service. And so I think it is very important that we have that discussion. And so in some ways, in my opinion, it sort of trumps the referral, which is not the referral, but what was sent from planning and zoning. It informs that discussion because that's asking us to modify our zoning ordinances. And I think at the time, my opinion is that we should really consider modifying those zoning ordinances to disallow crypto centers and data centers, okay, crypto mining facilities. I recognize that times can change, will change, and things like that, but for now, it seems like the appropriate thing for our town. So that's why what was the impetus for the referral, and part of my reasoning behind it. There's more. I know that there's a lot more information about other things, but I start with the fact that we're a municipal utility, which makes us different than a lot of other places. So.
Thank you, Councilor. And with that, open it up to other council thoughts, conversation.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor. So I'll address Councilman, is it counselor, or just one council?
Aaron's fine.
Aaron's fine. So Aaron, I agree with what you've said, but have you, is this a limited to facility size or a complete zero?
That's going to be, no, that'll be a little devil in the details there, especially as it relates to data centers, okay? I mean, as far as crypto is concerned, since that's really sort of a singular specialized use, I could see that just being a ban. And then we'd have to figure out what the definition of data centers is. Because arguably, if I have a fairly beefy computer at my house that I'm allowing people to share and on the internet, it could be a data center, right? And so that's why we have an excellent staff and 2 city attorneys to help draft the language. And I think that we're new to it, but not the first to it. So I do think, in all likelihood, there will be some examples of ordinances out there that try to accomplish what we're talking about. So I don't know what the final form would look like, but whatever the ordinance is should address, in my opinion, the concerns that I raised here, as well as other concerns that I know that the public has. And if that's related to scale on certain things, fine. If it's related to a ban on certain things, fine. It's
Right.
whatever best fits those concerns.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
And counselors.
Happy birthday.
Nowhere better to spend your birthday, Gil. Yep.
Mr. Mayor?
Counselor.
I know a couple of months back, you had asked me if I'd had any information on it. It was really easy for me to find all the information negative about any of this. And, of course, it came from AI. And as many, probably as public, it's easy to access today, so it's a good thing. My basic concern is, do we know enough other than the bad information to say we want to just ban it? Or do we want to work through the process? The other question is, well, if it was so derogatory, why did our utility company choose to have it installed at our utility company? That's a question that we've all had. I would like more information, is where I'm at, and I think we should go and try to find that out. And another question is there's been some statements from CFU that we're benefiting from having the cryptocurrencies and reducing our utility bills. I don't know if that's true or not. I just don't have the information.
Mr. Mayor, may I? Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Yep, go ahead.
Is it your birthday?
No, it is not my birthday. But I guess my intent is, with the referral, is to have that discussion that you're talking about right now, okay? Because if the referral is, please draft some language that addresses these needs, and then you don't believe there is the need, then you could vote against whatever the language that there is. And I think that's when we would have the additional information, and in all likelihood, a representative from CFU would be here or asked to be here. My belief is that the scale that they exist in the town right now were livable for the utility, and because they could shut them off when they wanted to, the idea is that there was some income generated from that. This concern addresses the increasing the scale, which is what affects our energy use and perverts what I believe perverts our market. Okay, so
I think, Mr. Mayor, I think what I was looking at was just the negative versus the positive on it. Are we looking for information, or are we just looking to deny? And I'd like to see both things. Other than that, it's obviously of concern to people. So,
And for what it's worth for council, I know Attorney Rogers and I spoke, we can concurrently have the current P&Z recommendation coming forward and staff looking into details on what that would look like if we wanted to put, because we're not approving it tonight, we would just give that direction. We could still give that direction, and staff could be doing research on both. Now, I'm not sure how long that research may take. We would need to talk a lot with CFU and kind of get some feedback from their end on some of the technicalities of it, whether they comfortable with, not comfortable with. So there's a lot of details there, but we can have kind of those conversations going on. Attorney Rogers, you look like you want to say something.
Yeah, I agree. Putting this is the starting point for staff to start to look into this. This isn't going to be next council meeting. There's going to be a lot of work to be put into this, and a lot of information, as Council Member Fairbanks alluded to, that has to come forward so you make an informed decision. So we can follow the process with the P&Z recommendation next time, and then we, with this referral, will know to start the process.
That was my intention, was to begin the process.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Counselor.
Mr. Mayor.
Yep, go ahead.
Councilmember Hawbaker, thank you for bringing the referral. I fully agree and support with what you're saying. Question, and I don't know if this goes to, I'm not sure who this goes to, Mr. Rogers, Ms. Sheets, Mr. Manley, who knows? Existing, just for the public's understanding, existing facilities that we have in the community now that may or may not meet this definition, or however we choose to define it, what happens with those facilities, just so that there's an understanding for the public?
I'll start. So that would be, if they did not comply with the new ordinance, it'd be a non-conforming use. And there are ordinances in place that address those. And so it's not like existing is going to shut down, nothing like that. But if there are changes made, the facilities and so forth, that could trigger that. But it would go on as a non-conforming use in that case.
Right, so really this referral is looking, Aaron, correct, larger scale, and then moving forward into the future, preventing additional.
Yes, I recognize that we can't undo
Yep.
what was done, but in part, it has highlighted the issue and the proposed plans for the future. So, yeah, it's prospective.
I really appreciate the referral. Thank you.
And I don't know, Director Sheets, I don't know if you want to speak to, we've talked about that of regardless of, or whether the May 18th were to go forward or not go forward, if it didn't, those non-conforming uses for how we treat them in terms of what could be allowed in terms of changing anything there, because essentially anything non-conforming use is not able to grow, is not able to add additional. Obviously with something like this, it's weird because it's not a building, it's not really something they're adding to, it's a lot of power usage. And we've just had a few conversations. I don't know if you want to add anything there of how non-conforming use should be treated in this situation.
I think Attorney Rogers gave a good explanation there, and then right to follow on about that. You know, a lot of these happened and we don't know what we don't know, and now we know more. And so if something were proposed to change, there will be a lot more questions about what exactly is happening. But right, he talked about if there's equipment change that expands it or changes the type of use. We'll be asking a lot of those questions to make sure that we understand it and understand how to apply what we currently have on the books as well as what council's talking about.
Thank you, Director. Any other thoughts, conversation, discussion from council?
I think it's important, again, to realize Councilor Hawbaker's point. I mean, it's the scale that concerns me. I think it's worth considering from a standpoint of, if nothing else, we need to put the brakes on. I think there's a lot to learn. I also have concerns in, you know, the long term as this thing plays out 2, 3, 4 years down the road. You know, if we don't do it, somebody's going to do it. Is there a spot where we need to carve something out? But those are decisions that can be made down the road. But I think given the absolute lack of information and the absolute scale of what we're talking to relative to our utilities' current capacity, that this referral is definitely worth staff taking a look at.
Thank you, Councilmember. Additional, yep.
Mr. Mayor, I don't want any more information. No, I'm just kidding. We've gotten a lot of emails, a lot of information. I have way too much knowledge now about cryptocurrency mining stored in my brain. And somehow I still don't really understand it and need more information. It's shocking. So thank you, Aaron, for the referral. I think this is a good route to go. We've heard, obviously, from many citizens that this is not the direction that they want to go here in Cedar Falls. Again, I think to the point, you know, we have local businesses that require data to run, and those local businesses employ probably a lot of the people in this room. And so they have to have a data center. And so we need to make sure that we allow those functions to continue so that we can keep having our local businesses. But I think beyond that, this is, again, probably not the direction that we want to go, at least in the present, and with the way these businesses are operating and the power that they require, and really just how little control we have over them once they are in operation. One of the big questions that I had was, okay, if they're not following the rules, can we just turn them off? Since that's currently what CFU can do. And that's a no, we can't do that. And so that right there was, you know, okay, well, I don't want to do it then, because we just don't know enough about this technology and where it's going. And maybe it's going in a better direction than it is right now, but we can't say that. And I don't think it's worth the risk to our community in terms of people's health and people's happiness. So I am, I guess, looking forward to the discussion.
Thank you, Counselor. Any additional thoughts? Conversation from council? All right, seeing none, then we'll open up to any public comment on this item this evening. And just know we do, for our council meeting, we typically limit to 5 minutes. I like to make sure everyone gets that time. I would also just ask, if it's just repeating something someone else already said, I will not ask you to not come up. Definitely use your voice. But for the sake of time, always just be appreciative of trying to keep things moving.
Paul Ryder, 5313 Caraway Lane, Cedar Falls. I just want to reiterate how important I think it is to go very slow on this whole issue, and I commend Aaron for doing that. I think our local utilities has been something that's made Cedar Falls rather unique in the state, and we have quite a record. And when I served on the council, we did the fiber optic thing, and so we were really trying to be supportive of what they do. And reading about this particular situation, I think it's very important that we don't put a huge strain on. I mean, this will transform, I think, the utilities into something that may not be very good for the whole community. And also there's the issue of AI in the future. Now this data mining thing is one aspect of that, but AI, we don't know what's happening with that. So I think it's very important for decision makers to make sure that you know what we're getting into when we make these kind of decisions. So I think it's very important to go slow and to get really good information and keep in mind that we really don't know where this is going to go. So you may have to make some decisions that are not, you don't feel very good about or whatever, but I think it's very important to do this.
Thank you, Mr. Ryder. Anyone else for a public comment this evening? Just name and address, please.
Hello, Dave Dibler. Excuse me, 1616 Campus Street, Cedar Falls. I guess I didn't need to say that. I am speaking to encourage you for the explicit disallowance of data centers and cryptocurrency mining within the city of Cedar Falls. An excellent conversation took place up here earlier. The two big issues in my mind, and I'm not going to go through all the pollution and Ponzi scheme angles. Number one, we don't know. And that's scary. If something's going on outside your house and you don't know what it is, what do? You you shut the door and you lock it and you protect your family. We do not know what's going to happen with this industry. And along that lines, what we are talking about is data centers. The crypto mining is, in my opinion, a temporary state. And once these data centers get going, leads to the second issue that was brought up. Before you know it, let me backtrack just a second. What's the phrase you hear most in Cedar Falls? It's buy local. And crypto is the most anti-buy local industry there is. People will be able to contribute to these companies who will become large taxpayers. We don't know who they are or where they're from. And all of a sudden, the tail is wagging the dog, influencing zoning and policy. And I think Cedar Falls, up to this point, would say that that's a bad thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dadler. Just to be fair, I know where most of the comments side on this, but in case there is anyone that would like to come, speak in support of this project as well, is there anyone that would like to speak in support of it this evening?
Not in support. But,
Well, let's go ahead and I'll ask it again.
My name's
after you.
Luann Whiten. I live at 625 Stanley Street. And I just want to thank the City Council for doing this, for taking time to pause and working with the community. It really means a lot to all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Luann. Okay. Try one more time. Well, go ahead. You're already up here. Come on up.
Come on down.
You walked all the way from the foyer, so.
I think you're going to find somebody, you're going to find it tough to find somebody to speak in support of this, really, especially after the planning and zoning meeting.
Just name and address, please.
Scott Frericks, 113 Main Street. I am a systems and network engineer. I have been in IT my whole life, and so I feel pretty qualified to speak on data centers and on cryptocurrency specifically. I've spent years working in data centers. Data centers are not inherently bad, and that's why we've got to talk about different kinds of data centers. There's four basic kinds that we really discuss. There's crypto data centers, which is really what we're talking about today. There's co-location data centers, and we have some of those in Cedar Falls already. Data centers for something like AI would be a third one, and then the fourth one I would consider is like hyperscalers. This would be something like your Microsoft Azure or your Amazon Web Services that sells out to other people. We really only need to address the one today, the crypto data centers. Those are the ones that are impacting our community. The other ones, you can debate about whether they have value, and they definitely have a place in somewhere because they're necessary. But crypto data centers, I think we can rule out specifically as having any value to our community. I want to address a little bit about what cryptocurrency is. Cryptocurrency is fundamentally a digital casino token. You can't do anything with it. You can't really buy anything with it. The only thing you can do with it is trade it in at the house and hope it's worth more money later. When you buy it, you might hold on to it and hope it's worth more, or you trade it in now. There's no value to our community. The jobs aspect, I've looked at the jobs they provide at this place. They start at $15 an hour, and you can make that money at McDonald's or pretty much any other business. I mean, that's basically starting wage now. So we're not providing much back to the community. These guys also don't need a ton of jobs. I've worked in data centers. When you have something like a co-location, you need a lot of cerebral knowledge. You need to do networking. You need to have wires run over in specific ways, cross-connect connections. You need to worry about different types of equipment. These guys have none of those concerns. They have 10,000 of the exact same machine. And so what they need is somebody to fix that exact same machine according to a manual as cheaply as possible. As a result, they don't really provide any benefit to our community. We should work to ban them in every fashion. And I would also argue to try and extricate the ones we have. I know we can't just straight up say, get out of here. But do we have to continue to provide them with subsidized electricity? Their business model only works if they have electricity costs that are 30, 40 cents on the dollar for what I would pay. If they're not going to be a business that gives anything back, why do we have to give them discounted electricity? And I would argue if we don't, they'll leave on their own. That's pretty much all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ferks. All right, we'll try one more time. Is there anyone out in the foyer or in here that would like to speak in support of the project this evening? Or well, I guess speak against your referral. Double negative. All right, seeing none, would anybody else like to speak in support of the referral this evening? Give a minute, just because I know we do have some people in the foyer. And I know speaking publicly is no fun, so it takes a little time.
Jim Dick, 1206 West 18th, Cedar Falls. My comment comes as a historical thing. I used to live in Oregon, and lots of data centers have been constructed in eastern Oregon, very rural areas, small towns. And the articles in the Oregonian are they feel like they got taken for a ride. So I think you're on the right track, and encourage you as a staff looks at this stuff to look at the experiences of other states. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Just name and address, please, sir.
Hi, my name is David Olson, 1813 West 8th Street. I also want to share my support and gratitude that you guys are moving forward on this very methodical and, from a non-government employee person, probably kind of boring and slow-looking thing. So I'm really thankful that you guys are doing it. I support the referral. I support reviewing, banning, preventing folks from opening and taking up our electricity, our public utility, to take that energy and money and funnel it somewhere else. Crypto, like as it was mentioned, a lot of the investors aren't local. And so where is that money going? How does it affect our city? I think that's something that needs to be looked at. Also, I understand that there's no easy way to extricate existing facilities, but I think that that should be looked at as well. During the planning and zoning meeting, CFU spoke to, there were some rough numbers thrown out. There was a 90 to 95 megawatts a day was the number for like what our energy usage is, and simple mining used something like 40 to 45. That's half. So I could have gotten that number wrong. They were thrown out. There were a lot of numbers in that meeting. If I'm anywhere close, though, and simple mining is anywhere close to half of our existing energy consumption, that's half of the carcinogens that we're putting in the air when we have to burn something to generate utilities. So I would just ask, how many new cases of cancer in this city are worth that? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Just name and address, please.
Hi, Grace Rogers, 5016 Cohen Court. I'm speaking in support again, so I won't take too much time. I just wanted to note that during the planning and zoning meeting, we all learned that simple mining was helping draft the amendment, so I would just recommend in the research and digging into this very long, drawn-out process, maybe don't include them as the experts that you're consulting. One, maybe, but please consult other experts other than the people that are going to benefit from what you're deciding on. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers. And I can clarify that a little bit just because I know that was watching the meetings and saw that. And I think what staff meant to say was, in discussions with them when they were asking what they're going to do, we did have to ask, okay, what you're looking at, what requirements. And I want to say, though, I have a lot of respect for our staff. It does do a very good job of making sure we're doing things and researching appropriately. And I know it, just wanted to say that I have a lot of appreciation for our staff because through this whole process, they've been very intentional that whatever we design, whatever rules, whatever regulations, whatever final recommendation has to be in the best interest of the community. And so, thank you. Anyone else to speak in support of the referral this evening? Just name and address, please.
My name is Pam Hayes, and I just want to suggest that when the staff does its research, they look at the different cities around the United States that have banned them. And I'm a big Facebook person, and every time I open Facebook, I see another notice of another city or town or area that has banned this, has taken that step. And I'm sure that they would have reasons that they did that and exact wording of, as Aaron was talking about, how would we word the legislation that would concern them, and I'm sure they would have some models, lots of models. And to be fair, maybe talk to some cities where they have gone along with this completely and see, has it had benefits to them. So just that all over the country people are saying no. And I've always considered Cedar Falls to be a progressive but also careful community. And when I see all these other communities doing it, including Oregon, which, if you know Oregon, there's West Oregon and East Oregon. And West Oregon is saying, no, no, no. And East Oregon has had the experience that wasn't necessarily a positive one of putting the centers in there. So.
Thank you, Ms. Hayes. Is there anyone else for public comment this evening? Give an extra minute again for the hallway. But. All right, otherwise seeing none, we'll bring it back to council for any further discussions, thoughts, anything else? Otherwise, I'll recap. It seems like the referral stands as written, and it's kind of just knowing that might take a lot of time for staff to work with CFU, talk with others, research what other communities have done. Is council comfortable with kind of having that timeline be open, or maybe having a time for an update that we plan, like even if we don't have something final, just to bring something back, or I can work with staff to just kind of see when we feel we'll be able to.
I don't think we want to leave it open-ended. I think we would want a monthly maybe update, and I don't know, Attorney Rogers, you think 2 months or 3 months or?
How about a check-in in 60 days?
60 days?
There's a time frame there that's relevant to my career.
I was going to say, I was expecting you to say like 90 days.
I should have asked Kyle, when are we going to do this?
Conveniently after your retirement date.
Mr. Mayor.
So maybe 60 days check-in to provide an update to council on where kind of the research is at.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
I I feel at this point I mean, the referral's going. I mean, to me, that gives direction as to kind of what we're thinking. I care more about the quality of what we end up with. So I guess what I'm saying is whatever it takes, right? At this point, I don't believe we're moving anything forward for crypto mining or data centers. I want to have the best policy in place as possible. So I don't know that there necessarily needs to be a time frame.
Yep. Thank you, Councilor. And just to provide some clarity for the community and council, currently as stands, I know we talked about this at P&Z, our zoning does not allow these uses. And so especially given the community conversations, no further projects or expansions of the existing projects will be allowed. They are considered non-conforming use. And so regardless of any specific moratorium or disallowance in the zoning, at this point it is being treated as these are not allowed. And so for anything to ever move forward, there have to be a specific passage of something that does allow them. And so at this point, they'll be treated as not allowed and the current ones as non-conforming.
So I'll go back and say, I'm fine with it being open-ended, but we do need some updates.
Yep.
Otherwise, we'll never have an end.
Mr. Mayor, I wasn't suggesting a final product in 60 days.
Right, and
just
I'm
to
not,
let you know
I'm
where
not asking
we are.
for it either, but.
So if you get an email from me that says we're working on it with a thumbs up emoticon.
And to let the public know where we're at.
Yeah, we can plan on making sure there's an update for it.
Can I just also add, it's not, I mean, I am fairly certain I feel a certain way, but I want to say this to the public and to anybody that, you know, as this has all gone on, I keep reflecting back to the original referral, which was to come up with a policy. Now, the policy could have been for or against, but I fully believe that without the process of the conversation, we might have had a policy that nobody in this room liked. So I think it's vital that we have the conversation, that everybody up here feels good about the information they've received, that the public continues to stay engaged, not only for this subject, for all of the fun that we take care of up here, and then we can, you know, feel good about the end project or product. So anyway, I just want to kind of say that. And I also want to give a big shout out to our, not only our staff, you know, I am a big proponent of our staff, but also our our planning and zoning commissioners. You know, they are volunteer community members, and I very much appreciate their work. And anyway, that's it.
Thank you, Councilmember. And I do know several of them put in a lot of time researching, not just what they heard at the meeting, but researching outside of that, you know, the national effects, everything they're seeing. So is there any other further discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
I agree without a time frame, but I am with Councilmember Schultz that we need updates within 60 days. And I agree with Kelly that we want to get it right. We just went through a development process, if any of you were here, that I think worked out very well just by discussion and having honest debate, and came to a very good conclusion, and this can end up the same way. So I'm okay with the amendment or the referral, and so I'll vote for it.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember. Any additional discussion? And otherwise then, all those in favor of the referral?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And that motion carries. So we will still have the item we just set the public hearing date for on the 18th. I would assume from the conversation tonight, you can probably make some estimations of where that conversation will go. But again, would still encourage, it never hurts to still be involved in all those discussions. So at the May 18th discussion, we will have that agenda item to review the recommendation for not allowing the code amendment changes from P&Z. And then otherwise, we'll be sure to bring an update to council here in the next 60 days, kind of where we're at with some of those reviews of potential disallowance and what that looks like. And otherwise, I believe that takes us to the end. Adjournment.
So move.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, again, for all the involvement and time.